So, what limited the SF-23's potential in 2023? Let's dive deep into the issues that started from the pre-season tests in Bahrain last February. The 2023 Formula One season was a roller coaster of highs and lows for the Ferrari team. The SF-23, Ferrari's stunning red car, often operated outside its optimal operational window. This narrow window proved to be a constant challenge, leading to numerous questions and concerns. Often, when such issues arise, they can be traced back to tire-related concerns. And indeed, the SF-23 found itself struggling to optimize tire performance on several occasions, resulting in a noticeable decline in overall performance. The issues were not new, though. Project 676, a significant undertaking by the Maranello team, has been in progress for several months to address known problems in view of the next Formula One season. The focus was primarily on the front end of the SF-23. Compared to other teams, the front end was perceived as too weak, prompting a revision of the suspension kinematics. To achieve effective dynamic control of the suspension, the tie rods must be adequately spaced, and the chassis attachments should have staggered positions. This approach reduces the migration of the roll center during motion. However, an analysis of the SF-23's front suspension revealed a considerably reduced stagger compared to other cars, such as Mercedes and Red Bull. As the season progressed, the technicians in Brackley decided to align themselves with the rest of the teams, completely overhauling the original design. The Ferrari team opted for a noticeably different path for the upper triangle's attachment point. The difference was clear, spanning several millimeters. The W14, for instance, showed a greater spacing between the two triangles, resulting in a larger distortion of the front quadrilateral. This aspect led to greater camber recovery during the movement of the German car. In contrast, the SF-23 had a lower incidence of the lower and upper triangles by several degrees. To maintain the stable static wheel inclination in corners, the engineers at Ferrari sought to increase the inclination of the lower triangle, which has a higher attachment point on the wheel side compared to the chassis side. As the season progressed, the Ferrari team realized the need for a significant overhaul of the SF-23's front suspension. How does Ferrari plan to change the SF-23's performance for the 2024 season? That's the question we're here to answer. Project 676 is the code name for Ferrari's grand plan to revamp the SF-23. Specifically, they're zeroing in on the car's front end, which has been deemed too weak compared to rivals like Mercedes and Red Bull. The key lies in the suspension kinematics. To achieve effective dynamic control of the suspension, the tie rods must be adequately spaced. Moreover, the chassis attachments should have staggered positions. This reduces the migration of the roll center during motion, a virtual point around which the suspension rotates. This simplification of the vehicle's dynamic framework is at the heart of Ferrari's plan. An in-depth look at the SF-23's front suspension reveals a considerably reduced stagger compared to other cars. But Ferrari is ready for a change. Their technicians are working tirelessly to overhaul the original design, aligning it more closely with the rest of the field. Now let's talk about the upper triangle's attachment point. Here, Ferrari is opting for a noticeably different path. The difference spans several millimeters. The result? A larger distortion of the front quadrilateral, leading to greater camber recovery during the movement of the car. In the case of the SF-23, the incidence of the lower and upper triangles is undoubtedly lower by several degrees. To maintain the stable static wheel inclination in corners, Ferrari is planning to increase the inclination of the lower triangle. This has a higher attachment point on the wheel side compared to the chassis side. The front suspension of the SF-23 did not perform its job well in 2023. The engineers often had to stiffen the front suspension layout to maximize the performance of the underfloor. This move significantly reduced front grip and unbalanced the entire car. The main trend that seems to work on many cars follows the model initially studied and proposed by Red Bull, a geometry with a basic kinematics that generates fewer excursions during vehicle motion, with its stiffness tuning relying more on torsion and roll bars. Ferrari is taking note, and it's these changes that are expected to increase front grip and balance the car. Ferrari is confident that these changes will significantly improve the performance of its new car for the 2024 Formula One season.